my dear students, in this session, we will just a quick recap of the propagation of errors topic. Then we will be moving into a new concept, which will be the last topic of the first chapter called units and measurements, right? So I hope you are ready to go. Let's start. Number one, the length and breadth of a rectangular object are 25.2 centimeter and 16.8 centimeter. This is length and this is breadth, all right, and have been measured to an accuracy of 0.1 centimeter. Both length and breadth are measured to this accuracy. So that means in length there will be error present of this much. In breadth also there will be an error present of this much. So that means, remember, given L is equal to 25.2 centimeters plus or minus 0.1 centimeters. So this is called the error. And the breadth value is also equal to 16.8 centimeters plus or minus 0.1 centimeters, because both the measurements have taken with an accuracy of 0.1 centimeters. Alright. Now the question is, find the relative error in the area of the object. We know the area is equal to length into breadth. From here, relative error in A will be delta A by A, which is equal to delta L by L plus delta B by B. Why it is like this? We know the propagation of errors concept. When you are multiplying two physical quantities, A into B, right? Z is equal to A into B. Its relative error will be equal to the sum of relative error of L and relative error of P. You can have a look at your previous topics and you will understand better. So this is what our aim. They are just asking us to find the relative error. Alright, let's check. Delta A by A, we need to find out which is equal to delta L by L. See, this is L, right? This is delta L, alright? So this is L. Understand? So this is the final measurement, which is equal to L plus or minus delta L. So delta L will be error 0.1 divided by, so this is L. L is this value, 25.2 plus or minus, or they are asking to find the relative error. I told you, in 100% of cases, they'll ask you to find the maximum possible error only. So that is why I have taken only my plus. So delta B by B, this is delta B, 0.1 by B, it's 16.8. So this you will get it as delta A by A is equal to, it will be 0.004 plus 0.006. So you will get it as 0.01. That's it. So relative error in A will be 0.01. Sometimes a question will be asked to find the percentage error in the area of the object. Percentage error will be delta A by A into 100. That's it. So delta A by A is 0.01 into 100. So this will be 1 0 cancel, point will come here. Another 0 cancel, point will come here. So it will be 1%. Alright. So what is the percentage error here? 1%. My dear students, the same question can also be asked in the other way. So that's what I am going to tell you now. Are you ready? Are you ready? Look at here. Same question. Same question. Carefully. Same question. So most interesting part of the question. See, till here, whatever they have asked, that's done. Now, the question can be asked. Here they said find the relative error in the area of the object. But the question can be asked. See, I am writing here. Find, carefully, find the final value of area of an object. All right. Find the final value of area of an object. Final value of an area of object will also include the error in the area. So the question they are asking here is find a plus or minus delta a value. All right. Find a plus or minus delta a value. Okay. Clear? So what is this a? What is this delta a? Carefully see. We have already discussed the concept. If z is equal to a into b, relative error in the z will be delta z by z is equal to delta a by a plus delta b by b. Carefully go through it. So if you want only delta is z, so finally what we are going to find? We are going to find z plus or minus delta z. Is z plus or minus delta z we are going to find out. So for that, delta z you get from here, see, delta z is equal to z into delta a by a plus delta b by b. Alright. Delta z is equal to z into delta a by a plus delta b by b. So this delta z is equal to z. What is z? Z is a into b. Okay, this z is a into b, you just multiply here. So z is ab into delta a by a plus delta b by b. Alright, clear? Again, just pause the video and go back and practice this part. This is the most important part. This is the most important part. Most important part again I am telling you. Now, look at here. Carefully see. What we need to find out, a plus delta, a plus or minus delta a. Here, come back here. What is this delta a? Delta a is a into 0.01. Yes or no? So delta a is equal to a into 0.01. What is a? A is L into b. What is L? Where is b? So this is L and this is b. Alright. So 25.2 into 16.8 into 0.01. Okay. So this will be almost equal to 423.36 into 0.01. It is 4.23. So delta A, it is 4.23 centimeters because everything is in centimeters. Here it is centimeter square because it is area. Because here centimeter is there and here also centimeter is there. Centimeter square. Delta A is finished. What is A? A just now we have found. A, see here. So there is A. A is L into B. What is L into B here? 423.36. So you can substitute here. So simple. So final value of the area will be 423.36 centimeter square plus or minus 4.23 centimeter square. Alright. Clear? My dear students, it's not a difficult thing. Listen. Carefully listen. First, the question is about area of an object and relative error in the area of an object. It's so simple. Area is length into breadth and relative error in it will be delta A by A, which is equal to delta L by L plus delta B by B. So you got delta A by A as 0.01. Now, if the question is asked to find the percentage error, that is also easy task to find the percentage error. It's so simple. Delta A by A into 100. That's a percentage error. Done. 1%. Question can also be asked in the other way, my dear students. I'm telling you once again, listen. Question can be also asked in this way. Find the final value of area of an object. Final value of area of an object. So this is what final value of area of an object is A plus or minus delta A. Right? A plus or minus delta A, how you can find out? You know already the formula is Z is equal to A by B. right? Z is equal to, sorry, A into B. When Z is equal to A into B, when a final value is a product of two different physical quantities, then the relative errors of them, the relative error of the final value is equal to sum of this relative error plus sum of this relative error, which is here you can see. From this, we need only delta is Z. So then Z will come this side. Z into delta A by A plus delta B by B. And what is Z? This Z is equal to A into B. Alright. Clear? Is it simple? It is so simple. Then A value is what? I've told you, just like Z is equal to A into B. So this A is length into breadth, area, length into breadth. So length is given as 25.2 and the breadth is given as 16.8. The product of this, you will get it. The product of this, you get A, right? And error, delta A. How you will get delta A? From here. What is delta A by A? 0.01. Delta A is A into 0.01. See, A into 0.01. A is what? L into B into 0.01. So in this way you get it. Most of the students feel it is a little confusing. But there is no confusion at all. You just pause the video. So that's the advantage of the classes conducted in Anand Medical Academy. How many number of times you want to watch, you can rewind and recap and whatever you want, you do in this video. Right? But try to learn the concept. Look at here, my dear students. Look at here. Carefully. Length is given, breadth is given. Right? The question is to find length into breadth and length by breadth. This is the classwork, my dear students. I need your responses immediately. Classwork. Length into breadth, how you will find out? So imagine that is only the area. Area is equal to length into breadth. Right? So there is L here and there is B here. Length into breadth. So this is nothing but the final value of area of an object. Same thing. Right? So what do we need to find out? A plus or minus delta A. Okay. Delta A you can find from where? From delta A by A is equal to delta L by L plus delta B by B. Alright. Delta L by L plus delta B by B. So you know delta L. What is delta L? See. By L. Delta B by B. You got this part. Alright. And we need delta A. Just this value multiplied with A, you get delta A. And what is A? A is L into B. So that is L into B. Alright? Clear? Try. Anyway, I will give you the detailed solution. Do not get any kind of worries. Now, look at here, my dear students. L by B. Imagine this is what a physical quantity called X. X is equal to L by B. What I need? I need X plus or minus delta X. Delta X, how I can find out? Delta X by X is equal to, see, there is a relative error in case of division also. In case of Z is equal to A by B, you get the same relative error. In case of Z is equal to A by B, delta Z by Z is equal to delta A by A plus delta B by B. Alright. Clear? Now, see, in case of Z is equal to A by B, it is in the form of Z is equal to A by B. So then relative error in X, delta X by X plus is equal to relative error in L, delta L by L plus relative error in B, delta B by B. From here, this is our aim. Alright. From here, delta X you can find. What is the delta X? Delta X is equal to, again, delta X is equal to, this X will come this side. X into delta L by L plus delta B by B. I hope you are understanding, my dear students. So delta X is equal to this, you know, delta L by L. See, delta L by L plus delta B by B. This part you know. Into X. What is X? X is L by B. So this is L, this is B. L by B. L by B. Understand? L by B. So final value you get L by B. This L by B, this is what I am talking about only this. This is L and this is B. L by B plus or minus delta X. Delta X value you get from here. Alright, this is the classwork and do it now and submit your answers immediately through WhatsApp and I will be waiting for your messages. Yeah. It's not the difficult thing. Now, another example questions. Look at here, my dear students. A maximum error in the mass and length are 3% and 2%. They have given percentage errors clearly because 2%, 3% they mentioned. So that means given delta m by m into 100 is equal to 3%, delta L by L into 100 which is equal to 2%. So percentage error in the mass and percentage error in the length are given like this. What is the maximum error in the density of a cube? Generally, the density denoted with the symbol rho, density is equal to mass by volume. So here, mass divided by volume is L cube because cube, length into breadth into height. All the sides, the lengths will be same. Understand? The height will be same, all length, breadth, height. Everywhere same as it is a cube. So I can write it as L cube. So now percentage, maximum percentage error in the density. So I can write delta rho by rho which is equal to m by L cube, right? It is delta m by n plus 3 into delta L by L. My dear students, I hope you could recollect the previous topic, right? So here, what I can write, multiply both left hand side and right hand side with 100. So delta rho by rho into 100, that is our required answer, which is equal to delta m by m into 100 plus 3 into delta L by L into 100. Understand? So just substitute everything. Delta rho by rho into 100. This is percentage change in the density of a cube, which is equal to delta m by m into 100 is how much? It's 3% plus 3 into how much? Delta L by L into 100, 2%. 3 into 2% is 6% and your answer is 9%, my dear children. I hope you understand. Clear? So let's see some more numericals along with some other topics. Hey students, the new topic for today's session is significant figures. What exactly the significant figures I'll tell you. See, most of the students, you can also compare. 99% of the students will not be knowing what exactly the significant figures. They'll just start with the rules to find significant figures. It's an important topic for your first PUC theoretical exam. So that's the reason they'll just start by hearting all the rules. Just no by hearting is required here. What is meant by the significant figure I am going to tell you. Listen to me carefully. So this is the object I have. I just wanted to measure the length of this object. Exact length of this, for example, exact length of this is 6.25 centimeters. Exact length of this. I can say it's a true length, right? I have an instrument. I measured the length of this object and I got it as 6.24 centimeters. Right? I took another measurement with the same instrument. I got the value as 6.26 centimeters. You might have understood by this time what is the least count of the device with which I measured. So that least count will be 0.01 centimeter. See, after the decimal, this instrument can measure 2 digits. After the decimal, this instrument can measure 2 digits. So that's called the least count of that particular instrument is 0.01 centimeter. Alright. So what does it mean? Actual measurement is this one. Actual measurement is this and the second measurement, second value measured value is this one, actual measurement is this, the first measured value is this one. If you closely observe the true value and the measured values, these two if you observe, what happened? There is a change in the last digit. Yes, sir. First two digits are same, 6.2 is same, 6.2 is same. The last digit is changed. Here also. When you observe these two, 6.2 is alright, but there is a change in the last digit. As the least count of the instrument is 0.01, 0.01, definitely there is a last digit will be having the changes. That's called uncertain digit. The digit which is changing for every measurement is called the uncertain digit. And the other two digits are called certain digits. What is that? Certain digits. So, I am writing here. So, in a measurement, there are some uncertain plus certain digits exist. Uncertain and certain digits exist in every measurement we take, and the total number of uncertain and certain digits are called significant figures. Okay, students, I hope you got the topic significant figures. In any measurement you take, there are some certain digits and uncertain digits. The total number of certain and uncertain digits are called significant figures. Significant figures. To find the significant figures, there are some rules mentioned in this way. To find the significant figures. And that's so simple. Look at here one by one. Here itself, I'll read one rule and example I'll give you there itself. All non-zero digits are significant. All non-zero digits in a measurement, all non-zero digits. So for example, our measurement is, so for 1263 means 1263 grams, for example, measurement. Is there any zero digit here? No. All non-zero digits are significant. So how many significant figures are present here? 1, 2, 3, 4. All non-zero digits are significant. So number of significant figures here, 4. Is it simple? Simple? No. Same thing. So I can also take it as, let's take a measurement of 1.45 meter. How many significant figures are here? Tell me. All non-zero digits are significant. 1, 2, 3. So the number of significant figures are how many here? 3. I hope it's very clear. Right? Is it simple? Number 2. All zeros appearing between two non-zero digits. The zeros appearing between two non-zero digits. So let me say the example of 1004 meters. Carefully see. All zeros appearing between two non-zero digits. This is a non-zero digit and this is also a non-zero digit. Yes or no? This is a non-zero digit and this is a non-zero digit. All zeros appearing between two non-zero digits are significant. Carefully see, significant. How many significant figures are here? 1, 2, because they are non-zeros. And these are the two zeros present in between non-zero digits. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So the total number of significant figures, how many here? There, 4. Alright? Alright, my dear students. Okay. Number 3. Before moving to the 3, and you can see one more value, let me write here. For example, 1.0205 kilometers. This is also a measurement, right? As per the first rule, all non-zero digits are significant. 1, 2, 3 significant. And The zeros appearing between two non-zero digits. This 0 is between two non-zero digits, and this 0 is also between two non-zero digits. So I can say every digit present in this measurement are significant. So I can say the final significant figures are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So significant figures are 5 here. Alright. Now, number 3. The trailing zeros. Trailing zeros means the zeros which comes at the end of the number, at the end of the measurement, right? Trailing zeros. So the trailing zeros in a number without a decimal point are insignificant. For example, I've got a measurement like a 1500 grams. This is the measurement. Is there any decimal point in the measurement? No. Never. See, there's no decimal point here. When there's no decimal point is included in the number, all the trailing zeros, how many trailing zeros are there? 2. So these are called trailing zeros. And these trailing zeros in a number without a decimal point are insignificant. So you should not consider them into the significant figures count. So the total number of significant figures are 2 here. Alright. Same way, for example, if the trailing zeros in a number with a decimal point are significant, see, same number, I can write it in this way. See, this is another measurement, alright. So this is another measurement. 1.500 kilometer. This is another measurement. So in this measurement, if you carefully observe, these two are also called trailing zeros, but this is the measurement is having a decimal point. When the measurement is having a decimal point and the trailing zeros are significant here, the total number of significant figures are 4 here, because 1 and 5 are non-zero digits and these two are trailing zeros which comes in the measurement where the decimal point is exist. Alright, my dear students, I hope it's very clear to you. Now come to the another point, the 5th point. If your number is less than 1, if your number is less than 1, the zeros on the left side of the first non-zero digit are not significant. So I'll give you an example and you will understand far better. So the number is 0.00865. Right? Let me say it is 0.00865 kilogram. No confusions. Where there is a measurement. If the number is less than 1, yes, this is the number less than 1. See, nowhere we have taken the less than 1 number. Here, greater than 1, greater than 1, greater than 1, greater than 1, greater than. This is what I am talking about. Greater than 1. So 1.500 is greater than 1. So if the number is less than 1, you must remember this rule. If the number is less than 1, what happens? The zeros on the left side of the first non-zero digit. The zeros on the left side of the first non-zero digit. So zeros on the left side of the first non-zero digit. This is the first non-zero digit. I said no. If you start from here, 0.008. Yes, this is the first non-zero digit. The zeros on the left side of the first non-zero digit, see, zeros on the left side of the first non-zero digit are not significant. Yes, they are not significant. So how many significant figures are there in this measurement? 1, 2, 3. Because this is the measurement where the value is less than 1. That indicates you should use the rule. What is the rule? If the number is less than 1, the zeros left side of the first non-zero digit are not significant. Okay. So if I write a measurement like 0.021 meter, how many number of significant figures are here? The zeros left side of the first non-zero digit. So 1, 2, they are not significant and the significant numbers are 2. If I write 0.5 kilogram, how many significant figures are here? It's only 1 because zeros left side the first non-zero digit are not significant. Alright, my dear students, the 5 rules we have done. We have only 7 rules. The 6th rule, let's discuss. 6th rule. What's the 6th rule here? For a measurement reported in a scientific notation in the form of A into 10 raised to B. A into 10 raised to B. All digits appearing in the base number A are significant. All digits appearing in the base number A are significant. Right? The power of 10 is irrelevant in identifying the significant figures. You know what is meant by this? Scientific notation is A into 10 raised to B. For example, 4.250 into 10 raised to 3 kilometers. Right? Imagine the distance between the two bodies or two celestial bodies is this one, this much. It's a huge distance. So here the question is, find the significant figures in this number. This is called the base number. The A value is called the base number. How many significant figures are here? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the tailing zero, right? When there is a decimal here, the tailing zero is significant. See here. So the tailing zeros in a number without a decimal are insignificant, but trailing zeros in a number with a decimal point. Alright? With a decimal point, you can include them. Without a decimal point, you can remove them. So here, this can be considered 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 significant figures are there, and here in case of, see here, all digits appearing in the base number A are significant. The power of 10 is irrelevant in identifying the significant figures. The power of 10 need not to be considered in case of significant figures. So you should never consider the significant figures from here. But sometimes the question will be asked by giving the scientific notation. So what is the order of magnitude in this scientific notation? What is that? Order of a magnitude. Order of magnitude here is 3. So 10 raised to 3. So this B is called order of magnitude. A is called base, right? Let me write here. A is called the base and the B is called order of magnitude. What is that? Order of magnitude. Alright, my dear students? Clear? So this is the significant figures counting here, and you should not consider this one. For example, let me say it's let me write like this, and 3.052 into 10 raised to minus 6 kilometers. What are the significant numbers here? Like how many significant figures this measurement is having? So there's no count from the significant figures from this 10 raised to B. Only count from here 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 number of significant figures. And what is order of magnitude here? Order of magnitude in this case is minus 6. Order of magnitude in this case is a minus 6. Right? So my dear students, and the last rule of the significant figures, let's discuss here. So the rule number 7 is the exact numbers in mathematical formulae will have infinite significant figures. The exact numbers in a mathematical formula will have infinite significant figures. For example, let's take the diameter of a circle, which is equal to 2 times the radius, yes or no? Here, How many number of significant figures are there in this 2? Infinite significant figures will be there in this 2 value. Understand? Because it can be written as 2, 2.0, 2.00, 2.000, 2.0000 and so on. So you calculate. Understand? This is a rule. Exact numbers in a mathematical formula will have infinite significant figures. For example, area of the circle is pi r square. This pi will have infinite significant figures. Perimeter of the square, I can say 4 times the side, yes or no? Yes or no? 4 times the side length. So that's called perimeter of the square. Here also the 4 will have infinite significant figures. Alright, my dear students. And this is the concept about significant figures. And get ready for your assignment. And before that, revise each and every topic whatever we have learned in this class, especially the rules to find out the significant figures. Thank you so much. All the very best.